David Robinson was one of the most dominant big men of the 90s, but for some reason, when we're talking about dominant big men and dominant players in general from that era, we don't usually bring up David Robinson, or we just kind of gloss over him. So in today's video, we'll talk about David Robinson and why he was so dominant. Let's get right into it. David Robinson, also known as the Admiral because of the time he spent in the Navy before joining the NBA, did exactly what you wanted a center to do, and he did it perfectly. He blocked pretty much everything on the defensive end. Inside the paint was his. He owned the paint. Nobody was getting up shots over him. And on the offensive end, he dunked everything. If you got it to him inside, most likely 99% of the time, he was probably going to score it, and it was probably going to be a dunk. Just anything that you would want in a center, he had. At 7'1", he did it all. In my opinion, what made him so good inside the paint was that he would challenge anybody at the rim, both on offense and on defense. He wasn't afraid of getting blocked, so he would just try to dunk it on everybody, try to go up against anybody, and he wasn't afraid of getting dunked on either. So this led to him getting so many blocks, getting so many poster dunks, because, like I said, he was just fearless. Another thing to look at with David Robinson is that he is one of only 4 players in NBA history to get a quadruple double. Yes, you heard that right, a quadruple double, a ridiculous stat line. That's a 2K stat line. People do not get quadruple doubles. He's the most recent person to get a quadruple double. So yeah, it's been over 2 decades since the last quadruple double happened in the NBA, and that was by David Robinson. His stat line during that night was 34 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 blocks. So I think that just proves how well David Robinson played, how well-rounded his game was, and all the things that he could bring to the game. I've said this multiple times, but David Robinson just had very, very few weaknesses. He did a little bit of everything, and he did all of these things very well. I think that one of the most impressive things about David Robinson is, like I mentioned, his quadruple double. It just proves how well-rounded his game was. He could get boards, he could score inside, he also had a nice mid-range shot. David Robinson never really made it out to the three-point line, but he did have a mid-range jumper. He could pass the ball, obviously getting 10 assists. I think he was a very good passer out of the post-up, so that's just another thing that he did well. And obviously with 10 blocks in the game, he protected the rim at a very, very high level. And I think that another thing that people overlook, just how dominant David Robinson was, is all of the other great NBA big men that played during the 90s. These are Hall of Fame type of guys, and David Robinson was one of the best. He played with guys like Hakeem Olajuwon, he played with Shaq, Patrick Ewing, Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, Karl Malone, just to name a few of the big men that David Robinson went up against. That just speaks to how dominant he actually was. Robinson was a 10-time All-Star, a Rookie of the Year, a 10-time All-NBA player, 8-time All-Defensive Player, a Defensive Player of the Year, an MVP, and a 2-time NBA champ. I definitely believe that he deserves more recognition than he gets. He deserves more talk than he gets, and he deserves to be considered one of the best big men of all time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave your thoughts on David Robinson in the comment section down below, and leave more suggestions for players that you want to see me make videos about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said before, remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.